Hello, everybody. It's week 7 of the Sports OT Online Wrap. We have gotten rid of Alyssa. More like she ditched us. She went to Cincinnati for the weekend. But Evan Denton, Evan Hong, Nick Tabbert here to break down week 7. We've got 3 weeks left until the playoffs and a couple of surprising scores, especially with this spotlight game tonight.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with that one. I showed up and I was very surprised by the score. Rice Lake didn't have any points on the board, and they didn't get any points on the board all night. Menominee, they look like the Menominee that we saw the first few weeks of the season. Remember, they've only lost 1 game so far this year, but, I mean, their offense was lights out. Reed Steyer with a huge touchdown throw there. The run game, they're finding holes all night. The offensive line was creating those, and a lot of scoring in the red zone. And for Rice Lake, the offense unable to get anything going. A couple good runs from the quarterback, Cole Fensky, at the beginning of the game, but I remember Alyssa talking a lot about last week about Fensky and how, he was somebody to watch out for, but that offense just did not look the same tonight. And as you see, the score, an absolute blowout, 35-0. Menominee coming home with that one, and a huge momentum shifter now. I guess not a shifter, but it builds momentum for Menominee as they now take the lead in the BRC. They have the top record at 6-1. There's 3 teams now at 5-2, so that playoff race is heating up.
Yeah, and they have a favorable schedule, too.
Right.
Next week, they'll play Eau Claire Memorial at Carson Park, so Coach Sin's homecoming. That'll be kind of fun. Speaking of the old Abes, they got their first win last week. They rallied past Superior tonight. They were at Chippewa Falls, and this was kind of a story. I guess the story was the Cards built a big lead, and then the defense really played well and kept Memorial off the scoreboard most of the night until the Abes finally got one from Reese Warner here late in the game. But Chi-Hi wins 35-7 to keep pace, and so they are among the teams that are just 1 game back still of Menominee. So this race is not over yet. Let's shift to Eau Claire North, and I had a lot of fun before the game. I got to see the Hall of Fame class inducted, and we got to interview them. And Evan Denton, you were at this game. Tell us about it.
Yes, I got there at halftime, and Eau Claire North, they tried to get some momentum going with this fake punt, but it did not work. And for the last 2 weeks, I've watched in Richmond, and they lost both games, so I thought I was a bad luck charm. But that all changed tonight. Their speed and space was too much for Eau Claire North, and they ran away with this game over at Carson Park, so 43-6.
Yep, and the Tigers, just like Chi-Hi, 1 game back in Menominee. So like we say, this race is not done yet.
A lot of blowouts, especially all 3 of those games were blowouts in the BRC, so that's pretty uncharacteristic. That's, I think, the first week that we've seen a lot of the big wins by a lot of the teams in that conference.
And I guess a disclaimer, we don't know which teams are impacted by COVID, if there's kids that are out. Unfortunately, we don't, I guess, investigate the rosters enough to know, okay, are they down this starting linebacker or this lineman? And so I guess we have to kind of remember that these scores maybe are impacted by player availability. But Augusta, what a great story. Derek Bolt named Packers Coach of the Week earlier this week, and they kept it going against Blair-Taylor tonight, Ev.
Looking to remain undefeated. Now, I will say Blair-Taylor had its chances early on, deep draft into the red zone, but just untimely. 4th down, they could not convert on 4th down and bad snaps. And then this play changed the game. Brennan King showing off the wheels for a 70-yard touchdown. From there, it was all about Augusta and their power up front, and they got the win, 28-0.
Did he find something to do with his hands this week?
You know what? He was a little stressed for the first quarter, I'm not going to lie, but hey, 28-0, he's pretty happy now.
I'm sure it wasn't nearly as stressful as last week. That was one heck of a game, but good for him, yeah.
So Derek told me that his wife took that photo and they made a meme and they posted it around the school because it was homecoming week, I guess. And so this has been all over Augusta high school.
That was the best post-game interview I've had by far. I'm glad I got that one, yeah.
He went viral real quick.
Yeah.
That was probably, I mean, I shouldn't say never, but that was probably the last big hurdle for Augusta to clear to run the table in the Dairyland. Wow. So congrats again to the Beavers. After not winning a game last year, they are undefeated still this year, and we'll see what kind of run they can make in the playoffs. So Altoona, another great story. We've documented this. They were down in Arcadia, 2nd place in the Cooley Conference on the line. Both of these teams have lost to La Crosse Aquinas, which is one of the best teams in western Wisconsin, I would argue. And so this was a back and forth game. It was close. all night long, and then I'm told that lightning affected the finish, and so Arcadia comes away with a 34-22 win. Rails played well, but they come up short. You know, if you play this game 10 times, I could see it maybe being 5-5 or 6-4, you know. So 2 tough losses for Altoona now, but they're against good teams. So we'll have to see how the Rails bounce back next week. And they're at home next week, and I believe that will be our spotlight game is their game next week at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went to Elk Mound against Fall Creek. Not a great game on paper, 2-4 versus 2-4, but man, it was fun.
Yeah.
After no scoring in the first quarter and a half, then there was just this blitz of offense, and this ended up being our play of the night. Cameron Martsky with a great catch. This was right after a kick return from Elk Mound from Avery Canta, and it was just, guys, it was 0-0, and you're thinking, man, am I going to get anything before I have to leave? And all of a sudden, boom, 25 points.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah,
That's the best feeling.
It was incredible. and we had these great plays too. The kick return, it'll be on our website, you know, with all of the highlights. And I love doing this play of the night, crowdcast. We've talked about that too. But a lot of fun, great game, and a big win for Fall Creek. Remember, they did not have a great season last year, and so now they are 3-4, and they're 3-2 now, I believe, in Clover Belt play. And remember, above 500 guarantees you a playoff spot.
Sure.
So the Crickets are there. They're knocking on the door of the playoffs. So congrats to Coach Mickelson and the Crickets.
And that also just shows, you know, how good any game can be between any two teams. We saw all the BRC games, not the greatest games, but then the one that we least expected was arguably the closest game and one of the better ones. So just funny how that works sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so each week we do crowdcast, we do play of the night. We also thank our officials. And so this is Fred Booth and Dean Van Amber. They officiated the Chippewa Falls Cross Country Invitational earlier in the week. And of course, guys, high school sporting events not possible without our officials.
Right.
Thank you to everyone that chooses to be an official, because we are short officials. WIAC play starts tomorrow. Blugold's pretty good the first 3 weeks. I know they lost last week to Albion College, but Blugolds are feeling good. They're looking good. They play at UW-Stevens Point tomorrow. I asked Coach Beschorner, you know, how easy is it going to be to win on the road this year? And Corey, can we hear from Coach Beschorner?
We got to find a way to, you know, not steal them. We got to find a way to win them, and we got to find a way to do it, you know, our way. We showed on last Saturday that if we keep playing, we can be in just about any game, and I'm really excited about that. So I think our kids will understand that it doesn't matter. We'll just keep playing and let the game come back to you.
This game starts tomorrow at 1 o'clock over in Stevens Point. Should be a great game. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. UW Stout guys 3-0, but they have to go down to number 3 Whitewater.
Yeah, that's always tough. Anytime you have to make that long trip. I mean, Whitewater's been the force in the WIAC for years. So, and I'm really excited for the Blugolds too. Stevens Point, they had a really bad loss to Stout already this year in a non-conference game. So it could be one that the Blugolds can take. So,
yeah. I think the middle of the pack in the WIAC is, well, we really don't know because everybody has not played for 2 years. So you don't really know. You've got all this senior leadership and so much talent, I think, that we don't really truly know who the best teams are. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. You were in Colfax to watch Blugold cross country.
I was.
We hardly ever get to talk about, you know, college cross country. So what did you see out there today?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, look how many runners were on the course, and look at all the people in the background. I mean, I was blown away. This was one of the first times that I've been to a D3 cross country meet. But shout out to the Blugolds, especially the women. They came home in first. This is Katie Ferris. She finished 5th. The Blugolds, they actually tied for first with Carleton, but due to the tiebreaker, the situation is it kind of takes the top 5 finishers for each team, and then it goes by their placements. So whoever out of those 5 had the better placement of the other 5, it kind of is a point system, and the Blugolds won that. So technically, even though there's a tie in points, they did win the meet. The men, on the other hand, they finished 5th in a tie with St. Olaf. They did tie, but they didn't get 4th place. But overall, a great day, and I mean, I was really impressed by some of those runners. I mean, cross country is a sport that I could never do. Arguably the most grueling event and sport that I've been to. I mean, they're athletes for sure. They put in so much hard work, and I mean, you can see at the end of these races, they're just completely gassed, and I was very impressed. So,
yeah, our 2 area colleges are consistently ranked in the top 25 track and field and cross country. We don't always get to talk about them because they don't compete in town very much, but glad we could get out to Colfax and capture that. We've got about a minute left, guys. Any closing thoughts from week 7 of the sports overtime?
Well, I feel like we need to talk about the weather because we do it every week. Last week, more like football weather. This week was hot again, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to expect.
And it's pouring right now.
And it's pouring rain now. I wore pants today, and I regretted it because I've been getting eaten up by the bugs like every week, but now I was just sweating like crazy. So I mean, I don't know anymore. So
honestly, I can't complain about the weather. It was very comfortable for me. First time seeing Augusta in person. Hey, they're undefeated for a reason. I think they're a team to be looking forward to go to the playoffs and make a deep run this year.
Regis plays tomorrow against Mondovi. Another good game in the Clover, but it looks like we'll have to see if the Buffaloes can hand Regis its first loss. The Ramblers look for real, guys. I mean, I'd say State. At this point, they look like they're the real deal. So, but we have a lot of good teams in our area.
Yeah, I'll be at that game tomorrow, so tune in tomorrow for highlights for that.
Yeah, plus WIAC can't wait to get college football going. Badgers play Michigan, and then the Packers host the Steelers on Sunday. We'll have all that for you this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are you all feeling for the Wisconsin-Michigan game? I have my amazing blue tie on for the Wolverines because I am from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I'll go with your boys.
I'm going to go Michigan, too.
Wow, okay, I appreciate
Badgers
that.
have played a tough schedule, but I think Michigan will get it done tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
For Ev and Evan, I'm Nick. Thanks for staying up late with us. Have a great weekend, everybody.